Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another video. It is the player ratings. Norwich City 2, Everton 1 at Carrow Road. Another defeat for Rafa Benitez's Everton side, and a defeat that surely sees the end of Rafa Benitez's time as Everton manager, or at Everton, whichever way you want to put it. Just done the instant match reaction. It was a very emotional one. I actually said to myself just before going live I wasn't going to get angry and I wasn't going to get frustrated, but I think it's virtually impossible to not get angry and not get frustrated when you're thinking of Everton Football Club, and certainly having to talk about Everton Football Club and specifically that absolute shambles that we've just all witnessed. TalkSport, little bit of latest news, I suppose. TalkSport have literally just tweeted are reporting that Rafa Benitez could be sacked as Everton manager as early as tonight. And given TalkSport is the platform that Farhad Moshiri likes to run to, I would maybe take that, that there could be something within that. But I would also take it with a pinch of salt, as TalkSport have been known in the past to put out some stuff that is just completely incorrect. So we'll wait and see how that one, goes over the next couple of hours, I suppose. Whether or not it will happen is a different story, but TalkSport are reporting that Rafa Benitez could be sacked as early as tonight, and that would be the right decision for me by the owner. That would be the right decision by the board. This manager has had an ample amount of opportunities. He's had an ample amount of times to improve this team, to show that there's something there, to show that we can fight, we can battle, we can win games of football, and he's proven on time and time again that as a manager, he's tactically inept, he's dreadful at making decisions, he's dreadful at making substitutions, he can't control this side. This side is running around or walking around football pitches, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to play, not having any plan. There is no plan, there's no structure, there's nothing. The plan is get it to Demarai Gray and hope that he can produce a bit of magic, or try and lash the ball in the box and hit Rondon or Calvert-Lewin. Or get it to Anthony Gordon and see if he can produce a bit of magic. That was the plan today, and that has been the plan for the last however many weeks and months. Defensively, we're in absolute shambles. The players clearly aren't that bothered about playing for Rafael Benitez, because you can see in their body language, in their facial expressions, that they're not that interested. And I'm not saying Rafa Benitez is the only issue with the football club. There's many an issue. The entire board need to go. They all need to be moved out, because they're an absolute disgrace, and they've put in this football club into a situation where fans are running on the pitch. And again, I'm not condoning that and I'm not agreeing with that, but fans are running on the pitch during games to try and get to the manager. There's clear frustration in the away end. We're in a relegation battle in January. The board have seen Everton through arguably the worst time in the history of the football club, and it's through gross mismanagement, dreadful decisions from the owner, and people not taking responsibility and seemingly not wanting what's best for Everton Football Club, which is of course the biggest problem. So Rafael Benitez isn't the only problem. As I said, the board are a big issue. The players are a big issue. Let's be honest, there's certain players there that should never play for Everton again, because they're just simply not good enough. But the easiest problem to solve at the moment is Rafa Benitez. You can't sack 7 or 8 players. You can't sack an owner who owns a football club. He's not going to sack himself, is he? So the easiest decision to make, and a decision that needs to be made, by the way, is to get rid of the manager. Because I'm not just sitting here saying, let's put all the blame on the manager. The manager needs to be moved out the football club. He's not the right man for the job. He never was the right man for the job. And he's shown recently why he just isn't capable of doing anything. There's literally a spider walking up my wall. It's a good job I'm not too scared of spiders, but I am going to keep an eye on it in case it decides to jump in my face during the stream, and I might end up throwing myself through the computer. So if you see me looking over to me right, that's because there's currently a spider running up my wall. But we'll leave it. We'll leave it for now. This is the player ratings. As I said, we've just done the instant match reaction. It was a very emotional one. It was a very long one, to be fair. We didn't really talk about the game because, to be honest, there's not much to talk about in the game, is there really? Nothing really happened. But, we're going to do the player ratings, obviously, as we do with every game. Let us know your thoughts on the player ratings in the comment section down below. Do you agree with the ratings that I'm given? Do you disagree? Let us know as we go on, and we will get into the live comments as we go on as well. If you are enjoying, please hit that like button. A little bit more of a chilled one, this. Less people on in the instant match reaction. If you could hit the like button, get the likes up, share the stream if you're enjoying all of that sort of stuff as well. But anyway, let's get into it. Jordan Pickford. I'm going to give Jordan a 6 today. Don't particularly think he was at fault for either of the goals. The first goal is an awful, while we're letting a cross come into the box is absolutely abysmal. From Mikhailenko's point, yes, and I understand, he's only just come into the football club and it was his first Premier League game, and I'm not in any sense of the imagination writing him off or going to sit here and have a go at him. But it was awful. You can't let the crosses come into the box from there. And Michael Keane decides to stick a foot out. As I said, probably a little bit unlucky, but given Michael Keane's current form, given, how susceptible Michael Keane is to make stupid mistakes, why he's sticking a foot out there is absolutely beyond me. But there you go. What can you say? As I said, Jordan Pickford. Sorry, I've just had a message there that I've got to jump on straight away. As I said, Jordan Pickford, don't really think that he is particularly at fault for the first goal. Again, second goal, don't really think he's at fault either. Comes out, gets a touch on it, and it just goes beyond them. Actually, there was a point in the game where he made a really, really good interception. I think Teemu Mikhailenko, again, with a bad pass back into a really dangerous area, and Teemu Pukki, I think it was, got onto it, and Jordan Pickford just done enough to come out and put him off. He come out and he sort of imposed himself, he made himself big, and Pukki had to take an extra touch, and it was a heavy touch to try and get round him, and then Ben Godfrey actually come in and slid it away. But it was a really, really important touch, and it was a really, really important it was a really, really important, coming out and making himself big, and I thought he deserved a bit of credit for that. So he's getting a 6 overall. As I said, Norwich didn't throw an awful lot at us other than the 2 goals, and I don't particularly think he should take the blame for those goals, and I don't particularly think he was at fault for anything else tonight. So Jordan Pickford's getting a 6. Into the defence, then obviously the manager went with 4-4-2, because why not? Anything to not play 3 in midfield, isn't it? I'm at the point now where I'm starting to think this is just a piss take. It's simply just Rafa Benitez trying everything that he can to not do what blatantly obviously needs to be done, and what will blatantly obviously help the side. Goes with a 4-4-2. So we had Vitali Mikhailenko at left back, starting his first Premier League game. The Spiders disappearing, so I'm just trying to keep an eye on it. Starting his first Premier League game, obviously after making his debut at Hull in the FA Cup. I'm going to give him a 4 today. Now, before anybody starts and before anybody has a go at me and says, Cam, this, that, and the other, give him time, this, that, and the other, I'm more than happy to give him time, more than happy to accept that. He'll take some time to settle into the football club. There'll be a period of that settling in. And I sat here when we signed Vitali Mikhailenko, I think in the video we done about him being announced, I said, we're going to need to be patient. We're going to need to be patient with him. We're going to need to be patient with Nathan Patterson. These are 2 young players who, ultimately are coming into a new league, a new country, a new way of playing, and we'll need to be patient with them. And as I said, I'm not by any sense of the imagination writing Vitali Mikhailenko off or sitting here having a go at him, but he had a little bit of a stinker today, in my opinion. Made a couple of mistakes. On a whole, other than the little moments, he was okay. Defensively, made a couple of good challenges. Tried to get forward, put the cross in, of course, which the goal led to. Didn't get an assist for it because I think Tim Krul got involved, but put the cross in in which the goal led to. So actually, I'll give him a 6. I'll give him a 6 with Jordan, because he had a part to play in the goal. But defensively, again, he made a couple of bad mistakes that you just can't make in this league. One of them being allowing the cross to come in the box for their opening goal. Another one being that back pass, which could have easily ended in a goal in itself as well. Just little things that, again, will come with time, will come with concentration, will come with knowing this league, knowing what he can get away with, knowing what he can't get away with, knowing that, you can't allow players to cross the ball in this league because it often leads in goals. And yeah, as I said, I'm not going to sit here and make too much of a deal about it. Going forward, he had a part to play in the goal, which was good to see. Made a couple of strong challenges as well, which was good to see. But ultimately, he also made a couple of mistakes, that one of which led to a goal, the other of which very nearly led to a goal. So I'm meeting in the middle. I'll give him a 5. Michael Keane at centre back. Michael Keane's getting a 1. Another vintage Michael Keane performance, really, isn't it? Defensively, absolutely abysmal. And we can sit here all we like and say, yeah, but his passing was good, or, he was a threat in the opposition box. His job is to defend, and he can't defend. I feel sorry for Michael Keane, really, because I just don't think he's at the level that we need him to be at, to be perfectly honest with you. He is a confidence player, and when he's not confident, he doesn't play very well. He's clearly not confident at the moment because he's not playing very well. He was at fault for the first goal. Obviously, he scored an own goal, albeit maybe it was a little bit unlucky. Maybe it was a little bit, unfortuitous, I suppose is the word I would use, in terms of sticking the ball out to try and block the cross. But again, should be aware of his surroundings. Maybe Jordan Pickford should come and call and come and collect it, or maybe he should take a look at Jordan Pickford and sort of just lay it back to him to come and collect it. And obviously the second goal, again, I get that Seamus Coleman's drastically at fault for it, but the two centre-backs, Keane and Godfrey, just completely allow two Norwich players to run in between them. It doesn't get to the first one, and then ends up getting to Edard at the second one, and then it's Mikhailenko having to come back and cover that space and put that block in, and obviously he's not able to do that, and we go 2-0 down. So defensively, again, as I said, this is a Norwich side who haven't scored a goal since late November, haven't won a game since mid-November, and they were 2-0 up within 25 minutes through dreadful defensive mistake. So Michael Keane is getting a 1. Ben Godfrey next to him. I'll give Ben Godfrey a 3. Don't think he was much better. As I said, he made that challenge when Mikhailenko had the pass back, and he threw the challenge in, which was a good challenge at that time, and a much needed challenge at that time as well. Not that it meant anything because we still lost the game, but this Spider's having an absolute... Can we just sit here and talk? Do we have to talk about the game? Because this Spider is trying to climb up a mirror, and I don't think it understands that a mirror is slightly more slippier than a normal painted wall, so it's just flying left, right and centre here. I don't know if it's the new Spider-Man or it's trying to tell me something, or if it bites me I'll end up being a superhero or something, but it just keeps trying to climb. And in fact, it's more entertaining watching this spider. If I had a second camera, I'd put it on this spider to just so we could sit here and support the spider in its climb. I really hope it gets to the top of the mirror, because you can see it's showing more effort and desire than any of those fucking Everton players did today, I'll tell you that. It's got a plan, it's got an idea, and it wants to get to it. Maybe the Spider should be the new manager of Everton. Do you want a job, lad? Yeah, want a job? Probably do a better job than Rafa Benitez, to be fair. Anyway, Ben Godfrey, yeah, he can get a 3. Made that challenge, which was better. Which was a decent challenge at a good time, but ultimately defensively, again, he as a partnership with Michael Keane, the pair of them are abysmal together. The pair of them are absolutely abysmal together. They can't defend in a partnership. We saw when Yerry Mina come on how much better we are. How much more confident we are, how much better we look just by having Yerry Mina on the pitch. Again, I don't think he was particularly good defensively today, and that's his job. We had a couple of shots going forward, and he got forward a couple of times. He obviously was moved to right back, but ultimately his job is to defend, and he wasn't very good. And then Seamus Coleman, Seamus is getting a 2. Again, really bad back pass for the second goal. Put us in a really, really dangerous situation. And do you know what? You can forgive Vitali Mikhailenko for making mistakes or not quite being on it, because he's only just joined the football club and it's a new league and he's young and this, that and the other. You can forgive Ben Godfrey because very similarly, he's young, he's learning his trade, he's learning how to defend, this, that and the other. I can't forgive a seasoned professionals like Michael Keane and Seamus Coleman for making Sunday League mistakes, making mistakes that I've sat here before and said this, and this isn't an exaggeration, this isn't me trying to be funny, this isn't me trying to throw out a cool, funny analogy. I've said before, half of the mistakes that this Everton team make, if I'd have made them playing Sunday League football when I was a kid, I'd have been absolutely criticised to the hilt for doing it. They're that poor. It's just awful mistake after awful mistake after awful mistake. And again, you can accept it from young players who are learning the trade, who are new to the club, who are trying to make their way. You can't accept it from seasoned professionals like Michael Keane and Seamus Coleman, who shouldn't be making these mistakes. Michael Keane, at 28 years old, should be the captain of Everton Football Club now. He should be comfortably in this team week in, week out without a problem. Seamus Coleman is the captain of Everton Football Club. He's a defender. He's been a defender pretty much all of his career. He's been a Premier League footballer for the last over a decade, and yet he still makes dreadful defensive mistakes week in, week out. At what point do we look at our bench and think, you know what, let's give the £30 million right back that we've just signed a go, because Seamus Coleman is in utterly dreadful form at the moment. I love Seamus. He's an Everton. You know, he's dedicated his career to Everton, and he's brilliant off the pitch. He's great on the pitch. You know, he gives us all. But the reality is, he's not very good. He's not very good anymore, and he hasn't been very good recently. And today, again, he wasn't very good, so he's getting a 2. Into the midfield, then we'll go with the 2 centre midfielders first. Abdoulaye Doucouré is getting a 4. Didn't really see much of Abdoulaye Doucouré in this game, did we, to be honest with you? Before we get into that, Everton boys has donated £4.49 to the live team. He says, if you get relegated, honestly, I don't know how I'd cope. Mental health will be a hard time for all Blues. I just hope players fight for the fans. I really, really fear at the moment that we will get relegated, if I'm being honest with you, because I think we've been dragged into a relegation battle, and as I said, I don't think these players have got the grit, the determination, the fight, and at this moment, this manager hasn't got the ability to get us out of a relegation battle. So, yeah, I honestly do fear that this is it. That, you know, that this could be the time that we are really in trouble. But thank you very much for the donation anyway, Everton boys. Really, really do appreciate it, my mate. It means a massive, massive amount to me. Thank you so much. But anyway, yeah, Abdoulaye Doucouré is getting a 4. Again, feel a little bit sorry for Abdoulaye Doucouré. Don't necessarily think it was his fault in the way in which he played so badly. Again, we've been crying out for a 3 in midfield recently. Abdoulaye Doucouré himself has even come out and spoke about having a 3 in midfield. Once again, the manager decides to not listen, plays a 4-4-2, which just completely nullified and killed any sort of, you know, attacking presence that Abdoulaye Doucouré has, because he was having to focus on his defensive work. And yeah, he was having to stay back to do the defensive duty. Norwich, as expected, didn't really control the play, didn't really have the much, you know, more of the possession. So Doucouré's game today was very much just give and go, pick the ball up, give and go, and, you know, try and make something happen that way. But he wasn't very successful at doing it. In terms of helping the defence out, listen, I don't know how much help this defence can get, to be honest with you, but ultimately it's probably not Abdoulaye Doucouré's job to do the job of what 2 seasoned defenders should be able to do and can't do. Spider's still trying his best, by the way. Just had a little 5-minute breather there. But yeah, again, going to give him a 4. Can't really give him much more than that. Gomez next to him. I'll give Gomez a 5. I think he looked a bit more of a threat going forward. I think he made a couple of decent passes in the in the second half to try and get us forward and to try and, you know, create chances. He made an awful pass in the first half, which I think led to is in the run up to their second goal. But other than that, wasn't massively involved, was he? Wasn't really involved. Didn't really do an awful lot. Wasn't particularly great. And yeah, as I said, there's not much more I can say about it. Again, the midfield today were as invisible as any game we've played this season. So Gomez can get a 5 for being a little bit more in the game than Doucouré, I suppose. Wide players then, Demarai Gray. I'm going to give Demarai Gray a 6.5. I think he ran round, tried to make stuff happen. Again, I feel really, really sorry for the wide players at the moment, Demarai Gray and Anthony Gordon, because the manager is that bad, and tactically is that inept, that the team talk at the moment and the tactics at the moment seem to be get the ball to Demarai Gray or Anthony Gordon and just pray that they do something with it, and that isn't right. You know, you've got 2 relatively young players in there that should be a part of a side with a plan, should be a part of a team where there's other players that they can feed off of, other players that they can work with, not just have all of that responsibility on them. And Anthony Gordon and Demarai Gray today, was trying to make things happen. You know, was trying to create chances, was trying to get the ball into the box, was trying to get into the right area. Got fouled a couple of times. But again, Norwich, I thought, were really, really dirty today. The referee was a disgrace. How we didn't book more of them is an absolute disgrace. But yeah, again, as I said, for his effort and his determination, he can have a 6.5. Didn't really do an awful lot. But again, I do feel really, really sorry for him, because he's got a lot of responsibility on him at the moment, and it isn't fair. It isn't fair. Anthony Gordon on the other side, he can get a 6. Again, was trying to make things happen. Had a good battle with Brandon Williams throughout the game. You know, was similarly to Demarai Gray. every ball that went to him, it was very much just the rest of the team stopped and went, right, let's wait and see what Anthony Gordon can do. And it wasn't as great as the games, to be fair. To be fair, I think he should have been subbed for either El Ghazi or Townsend with 15-20 minutes to go to give us some fresh legs, give us something different. But why would Rafa Benitez do that? Because that would mean that we would have a chance of getting back in the game. And why would he possibly want to give us a chance of getting back in the game? But yeah, as I said, Gordon, it wasn't his best game today. He did work hard. I thought he worked really hard. The fight was there, the battle was there, the determination was there. He had a really good battle with Brandon Williams, in which Brandon Williams won a couple of times, and Anthony Gordon won a couple of times, and the referee gave everything to Brandon Williams, which was interesting. But yeah, as I said, not as great as the games, but I don't particularly attribute that to him personally. And then the two strikers then, Solomon Rondon is getting a 1 and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's getting a 1 as well. To be honest with you, listen, I know the whole the feeling at the moment will be very much, it's not Dom's fault, it is Rondon's fault, but let's be honest, the pair of them were dreadful today. Got nowhere near the ball. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I don't think had a shot at goal. He had one where Andre Gomez headed it back in and he nearly got on the end of it, but the keeper come out and collected rather comfortably. Rondon did have a shot on goal, but it was right at the goalkeeper, and it was it with about as much pace as me nan shows when she's trying to run for the bus and she doesn't get the bus. So neither of them deserve anything higher. I'm not going to sit here and give Calvert-Lewin a higher score because he's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. To Rondon, because Rondon's Rondon. The pair of them were invisible today, and again, I don't attribute that to them personally and their performances personally. I attribute that to Benitez having absolutely no tactical, decision making whatsoever, and the tactics being just get it to Gray and Gordon and hope something happens, and that ultimately isn't good enough. What he should have done, and again, you know what I was going to say. I'm not a manager, so I'm not going to tell Benitez what to do, but I am going to tell Benitez what to do because it's as clear as day. What he should have done is, with 20 minutes to go, when we got back into the game and Richarlison got us back into the game at 2-1, he should have threw Anders Townsend on and said to Anders Townsend, every time you get beyond that halfway line, throw a cross into the box. You've got Calvert-Lewin there, you've got Rondon there, 2 target men, 2 centre forwards, 2 number 9s, get a ball into the box. But he didn't, because why would he do that? Because that would mean us getting back into the game. I think both of them worked hard. I don't think you can particularly say that they didn't work hard. I don't think you can particularly say that they didn't really want it. But the pair of them just weren't in the game whatsoever, were they? So they're both getting a 1. Onto the substitutes bench then. Richarlison is getting a 9 on the basis that he come on and was the best player in an Everton shirt the moment he come on. His goal is absolutely brilliant. It's an absolutely unbelievable finish. Really clever bicycle kick. Good ball in by Mikhailenko, to be fair, but a really, really clever bicycle kick for Richie to direct it to goal. And yeah, he worked hard, he battled, he fought, he tried to get us back in the game. He got us back in the game ultimately with his goal. He tried to get another. He worked really, really hard today, Richarlison, and as I said, I'm giving him a 9 because I'm massively upset. I've got a banging headache after watching that, and he deserves a 10 just because he's boss and he was the only player that really seemingly had an impact on the game in an Everton shirt. So yeah, and then Yerry Mina can get a 7 because he come on, showed the defence up and showed why without Yerry Mina in this team, this defence is utterly abysmal. Michael Keane, Ben Godfrey, at the moment Mikhailenko, but again I'll give him his due, Seamus Coleman, the 3 of them are poor, piss poor. And yeah, Yerry Mina come on, didn't really have an awful lot to do, but blocked a couple of shots and just showed in terms of his presence and his ability to break teams, that in terms of stop teams from getting forward is just so needed, and we need to keep Yerry Mina fit. I can't even express to you how important he is. And then there you go. Rafa Benitez is getting a minus 153,922.642. He shouldn't be the Everton manager, and if he isn't sacked after this performance, then I really, really fear for the near future of our football club, because that that today and the last 2 or 3 months is enough for any manager to lose their job. And I'm not a big advocate of just screaming for managers to be sacked, but he needs to go today. He simply needs to go. How is your dad feeling about all of this, says Hernandez? He's actually on holiday at the moment, so I haven't spoken to him today. I will speak to him, I can only assume, over the next hour or so. But given he is in Mexico, he probably isn't feeling as bad as the rest of us. He's probably feeling bad about Everton, but he can just, put his phone down, look up, and there you go. There's a nice swimming pool, there's a cocktail, there's warm weather, there's good songs, there's nice... Whereas I'm looking up and seeing shite. When Creeper Boy says, hey mate, Frank says Duncan will give passion. He may not be the manager, but he will give passion. He gives fuck 6 points, and 1 in 3.5 months is a complete joke. Give him the chance. Ferguson needs to be the manager for the game against Villa, absolutely. Unless we can line a manager up before then, which we're not going to. Has he not been sacked already, says Creeper Boy? Because Farhad Mashedi cares more about his personal, not being proven wrong than he does Everton's success. Talks about saying he can be sacked tonight. Yeah, I said that before. Whammy says, talk to us, Cam. Rafa out, Lampard in, says Keenan Rance. No, not Lampard. Not for me, but Rafa out, definitely. It doesn't matter, but I do hope so. 85. Rafa, Jerry says, don't know where we go from here. Reckon we give Wayne Rooney a chance. He's doing a great job at Derby. I reckon we give it to Ferguson, and then in the international break, see if there's any clear candidate that we can go out there and get that isn't going to be a risk, and that is just going to be good enough to shore us up and keep us in this division, really. Even if that's somebody on a 6-month contract, that's where we're at the moment, isn't it? Frank says, I don't agree with Lampard. Don't think he's the right manager to get us out of what is now a relegation battle. Cam, Rafa should have put Townsend on. Everton board are a load of muppets. Should have put Townsend on. Keane says we have to get Lampard now. Scared to think Villa next weekend. Don't think I can watch. Let's wait and see. Dean will get the winner next week, says Joseph. Frank says, I don't agree with people want Lampard. Listen, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, aren't they? Ian says, no, Cam, what Benitez should have done was stay at home in his Whittle mansion and nagged his wife about his previous clubs. Yeah, Gerrard is the real man. No. Jake says, I'm meant to be going the Villa game next week. First game being into the Watford game. If I see Benitez in charge, then I'm not going. Well, shouldn't be. Cam, what happened if they get Marco Silva again? Mad, because he's doing so well at Fulham. I don't think it'd be the right manager for the situation that Everton are in, but Marco Silva is doing a really good job at Fulham. But I don't think that's the right man for the job at the minute. Brendan says, Big Sam. We might be getting to that territory at the moment, which is scary, isn't it? Anyway, look, we are going to finish it off there. Then if you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. Once again, massive thank you to everybody for getting involved in the live comments. Really do appreciate it. If you're watching this as a YouTube video, please do get your thoughts in the comments, and we'll get involved with as many of them as we possibly can. Sorry I couldn't get involved with all the live comments, but I really do appreciate all of the support. As I said, don't forget to check out the Instant Match Reaction if you haven't already. And if you want to join us for the live game review, that'll be on Monday. We will talk a little bit more about this game. So yeah, I don't look forward to that one, to be fair. If there's any news in between now and then about the manager, then we'll do a video or a live stream and talk about it, but I'm not confident that there will be. Anyway, big thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Check out the play ratings if you haven't already, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues. Cheers for watching. See you after.